Hello and welcome to another season here at Newcastle United. I've got some transfers for you, I've got a league game for you, I've got a group stage draw for you. It's all happening. I'll start with the only outbound transfer that wasn't a pre-arranged end of loan deal, which there was a half a dozen of, pretty much. Ezekiel Barker got an offer from Everton. I got it up to 31 million. He's gone. 31 million with the add-ons, that is, though. But he is playing for them so far, and that would be slap bang in the middle of his transfer value. He was third choice. It's money made. We paid $1.5 million to get him in the first place. I tell a lie, there was another outbound transfer, and that was Lascelles, who just isn't good in the game. I don't think he's that much better in real life, but yeah, it's kind of tragic how bad he is in the game. Just over £500,000. The board's unhappy with the finances in this deal. His value is slap bang in the middle of his transfer value, so I don't know why they're that upset. He wanted to go, he's gone. Simple as that. But like I said, all those loan to buys have all gone through as well. Callum Wilson's gone to Spurs. Lewis is at Leeds now permanently. Darlow's at Southampton. Montero, the goalkeeper that you never really saw, is permanently at West Ham now. All told, it's about 40 million for those. So nice little bump into the transfer budget for them. First bit of news is I renewed the loan on Harvey Elliott because it's really quite reasonable. Pays 44 grand a week wages and agreed to be a squad player. I've got him for the year again. He didn't play particularly well last year. Worth noting we've already played 2 games this year. He's scored a goal so far, which is the same as he did in 21 appearances last year. Already doing better. Also loaned in, and will become permanent if he plays 15 games, is Anel Ahmedhodzic. That's what I'm going to go with, but Anel for the most part. It's a ball-playing defender who counts as homegrown because of this stretch at Nottingham Forest. Basically, he replaces Lascelles in the lineup. If he plays 15 games, it's £13 million. He also fulfills that crucial criteria that I seem to have for central defenders, and that is the fact that he's 6'5". Zagadou, Mings, Soulé, all 6'5". He joins the club. Just a very well-rounded defender. I would like more work rate from him, but other than that, I would take him for 13 million. Also confirmed is the free transfer of Moukoko. Yep, free transfer. His work rate's going up as well, which is nice. That was on the low side to start with. I am trading that specifically. He's not particularly good at pressing forward, which is what we need, but at the same time, it's Moukoko. I feel like if he patches up some of these mentals, and particularly that stamina, which is obviously happening with the work rate training, I feel like if he patches those up a little bit, pressing forward is within his arsenal there. He has got decent aggression. Then a strange one, perhaps, but I figured it might be well worth, considering I saw my third choice left winger, I thought it might be sensible to actually get in a dedicated backup to Nianzou. Because we've got midfielders who can play defensive midfield, but I thought it might be well worth getting someone who would actually be a defensive midfielder and happy to be a squad player to play behind Nianzou in the pecking order. And Bournemouth were relegated. They had Toussaint. He didn't like being relegated. Had paid more than they paid for them, which is a little bit annoying, but £15 million for 17-17 teamwork and work rate. Good stamina, good natural fitness, good tackling, great concentration. The mentals are just fantastic across the board. But the only concern with this transfer is, and whilst he is 2.5 star at halfback, I had to agree to play him as a ball-winning midfielder, which I'm not going to do, because that would ruin the tactic. Sorry, Lucas, you're going to have to get over that one. Also relegated with Brighton. Yeah, I remember last season when Newcastle played Brighton, Tarek Lamptey tore us a new one. I figured, if you can't beat them, make them join us. When I was with Tenerife last year, Barcelona signed Tarek Lamptey, and I kept pointing out he's the classic example of physical skewing the ability stars. He's 3.5 stars, and that's entirely because of 20 acceleration, 17 pace. The rest of him is distinctly average, really. But at the same time, I was very curious to see how this operates in this year's game. And by this, I'm not degrading him as a person. I just mean this spread of attributes. Because just from a pure experiment point of view, I am curious. £34 million we paid up front. It's a lot of money. But he is, of course, homegrown as well. And then finally, this guy popped up on my transfer list, on my scouting list. And, well, he had a £42 million release clause. I had the money. He plays where Saint-Maximin plays, which is the awkward part. But I did say Saint-Maximin was improvable upon. Whilst I love Saint-Maximin in real life, he's not quite this level of quality in the game, which is saddening, really, because he probably should be. He has the same dribbling attribute as Luis Diaz, but the rest of it is slightly worse, basically, particularly the mentals. Poor Alan. I did play both of them in the first game. I played Alan on the right-hand side just to see how that would work. The answer is well. I'll show you that in a moment. But Luis Diaz, 4.5 star player, £42 million. He's played 2 games. First game, scored and assisted. We've played 2 games already. I think it's all the Champions League teams have played midweek, which means we play 3 games in the first week of football, which is not great for fitness. But that wraps up the transfers. It's been relatively quiet. I said it probably would be. We beat Arsenal 4-1 on day one. The West Brom game has most certainly been moved from later in the schedule, presumably when the Champions League football is being played, to be played in this first week of football, because all the other teams who were in the top four last year also played a game. We bottled a 2-0 lead in that, which was frustrating as hell. It also means we played 2 away games to start this season off. I would presume this West Brom game would have been between those 3 home games. You can see a little bit later on Chelsea, Watford, Leicester. There's 3 home games in a row there. It must have been somewhere amongst those originally. Also, shout out to Sesko scoring 4 goals in 12 minutes in a friendly against Lincoln. Friendlies went largely okay, except for teams that we would probably play in the Champions League. We lost those ones. But in the league, like I say, we drew a West Brom, bottling a 2-0 lead. Carvalho scored twice there. He also scored against Arsenal. Started well. Diaz scored, as mentioned. Tyrone Mings got a corner. Yep, that's still happening. And you also saw that Harvey Elliott scored a goal, and that's where that came from. Saint-Maximin did take a knock in that game. He should be back for this one, but the main news really here, as other people have played their games this week, but the big news for this match against Man UFC is that Castiles is injured, so we don't have our first choice goalkeeper. He's been subject to a few bids already in this transfer window, most of them about 20, 30 million. For the majority of them, they've been teams like AC Milan. He sort of just had slight interest in those, but not overly problematic. There was one problematic bid from Liverpool, where I had to promise I would sell him if I could find a replacement. I'm not going to find a replacement. I should have said, as you can see Begovic on trial in the background there, he only wants non-player role. I did sell Smithies for like 60 grand as well, so I need a new third choice goalkeeper. Begovic is not going to be that person. I am working on that replacement. I'm also working on a better backup left back as well. They're the deals that I'm working on currently. I'm also in the market for an improvement in this midfield somewhere. I feel like we need an absolute star quality in this midfield, but I can't find it for the price range I've got. We've got a decent amount of money left, but major improvements cost a lot more than that. Also just realised I didn't go through the lineup, but it will be Keller and goal, Digne, Mings, Soulé, Lamptey, Nianzou, Willock and Benacer, Diaz, Saint-Maximin and Moukoko. I got it just in time before it faded. Meanwhile, Man UFC are playing 3 at the back, with Eric Garcia, who's joined them this year. Oh, major news, by the way, in the world of Premier League football. Pep Guardiola left Manchester City. Just left. Didn't go anywhere else. Just left it. Didn't retire. Don't know why he's gone. Klopp replaced him, which I can't imagine went down well. But in replacement for Klopp, Steven Gerrard's turned up at Anfield to manage them. Yeah, what Aston Villa fans are fearing has occurred here. Obviously, he's not Aston Villa manager at the start of this save because they did this at the start of the beta, but he's gone straight from Rangers as far as I'm aware. Bernardo on this ball, who is still playing football at 38, 39. I don't know how old he must be at this point. But Soulé making a surprising amount of progress on that pitch right now. Stay back a little bit there. Lamptey to the back post. It's gone away to Digne, who will probably try across from the other side now. He doesn't. It goes to Nianzou. Interesting ball. Back to Lamptey. Second time's the charm, Tariq. Bruno Fernandes gets in the way, as that was nearly one of the weirdest goals I've ever seen. Meanwhile, Lewandowski's still scoring every single game that he's playing. It was Diaz, Digne, Mings now. His turn to go a little bit marauding. I was a little bit concerned about that sandwich he was about to enter, but managed to get the ball to Tariq Lamptey on this right-hand side, who's charging forward once again. That 20 pace, making itself known. Maguire clears. And, okay, that is the weirdest goal I've seen in a while. I'm not 100% certain why Mr. De Gea in this situation. I'm going to put it down to weird animations that aren't in the game or something, because Maguire clears that one nicely, and then really nobody reacts to the second header. Answers on a postcard. Anyway, there's a corner, and Mings nearly makes it too. Well, it's all highlights this game, as they've got Jovic up front. I didn't even notice that. If I was in the market for a striker, Jovic may have been on the list. He seemed to be reasonable priced. Clearly made his way to Manchester United. Oh, Liverpool have also signed Osimhen for over £100 million. I guess they needed someone to complement Lewandowski up front, who obviously isn't getting any younger. Osimhen, definitely the one that complements him. And then weirdly, in a separate transfer a few weeks later on, Bobby Firmino made the reverse journey to Napoli. They might as well just put him as part of the deal. I don't know why they did it separately, and we nearly scored another back post header. It's rather weirdly and appropriately Conte in charge of Manchester United, the manager that Manchester United fans probably would have got if they pulled the trigger on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a couple of weeks earlier. So that experiment is playing itself out in real time in this season. Benacer whips the ball in. Mings is there. Thank God Dominic's been scoring. He's still ahead of him, don't worry. But Dom was just a bit tired for the start of this game, so that's why he's not started it. He played the previous 2 in succession, so Figured I'd give him just a bit of a rest, and so far it's 2-0 without him. Fernandez plays it short to Eric Garcia, who nearly pulls the company and smashes it in from there. I don't know why, but a defender smashing it in from outside the box will always be a company to me. I'm sure there's been plenty more examples. Yeah, I'm happy so far. It's 2-0. Okay, Diaz getting a bit tired. He did play sort of 1.5 games. Willock getting a bit tired as well. So Saint-Maximin moves to the other side. As does Benacer, Gagliardini and Adeyemi come on. There is another reason why I really want to beat Manchester United. Man UFC, sorry. They nicked the defender I wanted as the backup, the replacement for Lascelles. Mepham went there from relegated Bournemouth. He went there because Man UFC's squad is stronger than ours, despite the fact we finished 14 points ahead of them last year. Good to know, Football Manager. It's still nonsense in that regard. You'd have got Champions League football with us. That's a sell for the Europa with Man UFC as Rashford. Clean in there. Probably should take Saint-Maximin off. Actually, no. I'm going to take Moukoko off. He's on a 6.4. I'll get questions if I don't. Cavallone will play the last few minutes. Hopefully that tired defensive line will hold on for the time being. I don't need to see it with lines. Yeah, he's well on. Arsenal had a goal ruled out for offside. It had to go to VAR. I don't know why. It was 20 yards off. He was basically in a different time zone. I've never seen such a ridiculous set of offside lines in my life. Sure. Good block. Pogba's still got it live. Gagliardini. Clear it, you fools. Oh, it's continued, and I think he's been fouled. We are seeing the resulting free kick. Whipped in, back post, Mings is there. We'll get to the ball first. Probably play it to one of these three behind him. Nope. Well, we might have done. We just never saw it. All right, just hold on, lads. Hold on. Gone balanced. 2-1. I'll take it. Very even game, really. We had 22 shots to their 12, but roughly the same on target and roughly the same XG. Although most of the XG came very late. Nice result, which takes us back into the top 4. Of course, there's a few teams that have played 3 games. The rest have only played 2. Leicester and Southampton just the 1. I presume they play tomorrow. Soule's been subject to bids as well. Atletico have been in, but he's not really been interested in anyone yet. So Real Madrid, that might be a test. Well, there we go. There's the backup left back coming in. He's agreed to be a squad player. Simicas, £15 million. Just straight £15 million. He was listed for 18, so I offered less than that. And they went, yeah, fine. Which means we can now let Paulo Otavio go as well. Not sure a likely rotational option should have been signed. Do you understand, fans, that we do need to rotate at some point? Happy to acquire a born winner. I mean, I presume he has won stuff with Liverpool. Yeah, obviously last year's title. And Champions League, actually. Back-to-back Premier Leagues and the Champions League, and he's agreed to be a squad player at Newcastle, rather than a squad player at that club. Once again, answers on a postcard. £50 million is a record for a Greek player. Really? What did Norwich play for Solace? By the way, those recent injuries have destroyed Lewis Cook, so I am trying to move him on. Those physicals are just non-existent now, really. This is what I mean. Norwich have come in with 31 million. Bizarrely, preferred destination as well. Reject. Oh, there we are. £6 million for Cook. It's just under his price tag range, but I'll take it, quite frankly. I think that's what I paid for him in the first place. Oh, 5. Oh, nice. Just some money for being in the group stage as standard. Deadline day, looks like Juventus might be busy. On my rumour for Liverpool again. Everton desire to loan Arezzo. Considering I've already loaned him to Trabzonspor, then can be recalled. I'll leave that in case he doesn't play. Carabao Cup drawing all this. West Ham, okay. This lad was on my radar. He's gone to Roma, but didn't really have crossing or finishing, so gone for £28 million to Roma, £14 million more to get Luis Diaz in. I'm happy with the deal I got. Quadrado's still very good at 35, but wage demands mean that's relatively pointless. Well done, Udinese. Well done. Who have you signed that are non-EU already? You've only made 2 money transfers, and neither of them are European. Neither's Gravelon, but I presume he's got second nationality somewhere. Okay, then Dahoud goes on loan to Napoli and mandatory 8 million in the future. We'll take. Also paying most of his wages now as well, so it all adds up. And there's the third choice goalkeeper, Fraser Forster, 40 grand from Sporting. Weirdly make 20 grand from selling Smithies, but angry with the signing of a player who's surplus to requirements. Third choice, born winner. But the reason for that, though, is he is actually homegrown Newcastle. 3.8 million for Paulo Otavio. That's fine by me. That's less money. That's also less money. Suddenly 9,000 people want him. 2 in there for 5 million, although selling fees. Right then, here we go. 5 hours to go on deadline day. Champions League group stage draw in the middle of all this. Naturally, I imagine we're in pot 4. We are indeed. 21 points already to our name, somehow. So with the first 3 drawn, I can see Group F would be a problem, but Man City are in it already. Group D would be a problem, but Arsenal are in it already. And Group C would be a problem, but Liverpool are already in. So the 3 big danger groups, really, all have English presence already. So we're looking at 5 groups where I think we could come at least second. Group A, I think we could possibly top, depending on how good Dortmund are these days. Group B, Barcelona possibly in a spot of bother. I don't know. They're in the second tier, Napoli in the first tier. Group E, obviously, behind Bayern. Group G behind Juventus. Leverkusen and Sofia reasonably tough, but I think beatable. And Group H, Porto, Roma, I think beatable, especially as we took Porto's best player. Rangers get Group A. That's a nice little group for them. Now, those 2 we can't get. Good luck, Austria, Vienna. Blind me. So Milan have to be in Group E or Group F. They get Group A. They get Group E. We can't be in Group F. Juventus, Sevilla, Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah, okay. Not the best, not the worst. I'd have preferred Group H, but Group G I'll take. It's a nice set of teams to be against. From a spectacle point of view. Well, a little bit late for me to be seeing agent offers, isn't it? 45 minutes to go. Idiots. There was one deal I was working on but didn't really show you. It was Tielemans, because I wasn't expecting to actually get him. Tielemans is demanded to be transfer listed to get Champions League football, which he isn't at Leicester. Leicester won £80 million for him. I just kept lowballing them to try and get him unsettled, so maybe I can sign him in January. I'm playing the long game on Yuri. I like him. I wish his physicals are better, but I like him for the central midfield role, and then I'd play Benacer in the Mazzala role. Also, I think he counts as settled because he was here when Brexit happened. 8th on the wage list, 2.3 million still. It was only 2.1 last year, so I feel like we've done well in terms of managing the wage budget. I am allowed nearly 2.5 and still got £37 million in that transfer budget, so I can use that in January if I so wish. 144 in the overall balance. It wasn't as high as 236. But there we are. A Champions League game does indeed pop in between those home games with Chelsea and Watford, as I predicted. So let's bring you that. I do notice the last group stage game at the very bottom there is against Juventus, so we'll do that one. For now, we'll do Bayer Leverkusen and Chelsea prior to that, actually. So there's only one game in between. So see you very shortly then. But yeah, not a massive overhaul in terms of personnel. Just trying to get star players in here and there. Maybe get a few backups who are happy to be backups. That kind of thing. That's the situation we're in right now. It's not revolution anymore. It's evolution at this point. How do you think I've done? What do you think of that Champions League group? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. All that kind of jazz. Until next time. Ta-ra.